Adonai Hama'ariv Aravi. And then we turn to page 18 and 19. We read together at the top of page 18. With everlasting love, you love the house of Israel. Torah and mitzvot, laws and justice you have taught us. And so, dear one, our God, when we lie down and when we rise, we reflect upon your laws. We take pleasure in your Torah's words and your mitzvot now and always. Truly, they are our life, our length of days. On them we meditate by day and night. Your love will never depart from us as long as worlds endure. Blessed are you, beloved one, who loves your people Israel. And then the next page for the Hebrew, we sing the song that Rabbi Yitz wrote for us. Ahavat olam Bet Yisrael, Amacha, Amacha, Ahavta, Ahavat olam Bet Yisrael, Amacha, Amacha, Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, limadeta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, limadeta. Ve'ahavatcha lo tasur mimenu le'olamim. Baruch ata Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. And then we will turn for our Shema, which, if it is your custom to recite standing, you may stand. If it is your custom to recite seated, you may be seated. This is a very individualistic prayer because it is speaking to each one of us. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
This is the service that they're having. My uncle.
And now the Ve'ahavta together.
Jewish service.
A little more of it, please, to be visible. Another line or two so they can finish it. That's it. Thank you. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi nitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochvecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. And then we continue silently on pages 22 through 29 with the various biblical selections. You don't have to read 1 and 2, you can choose, but you can read the one in front of you because I'm sure it's wonderful. Adonai Elohechem Emet. And Beth, if you're ready, if you would please read us your kavanah on page 34, if everyone's ready. I can't see anything.
Joan,
Yes,
we can hardly see your face. Can you tilt your screen down?
thank you, Debbie. I wish I had known that earlier, but then again, it's not about me. Thank you. Is this better? Enough? Let me get that view where I can see everybody. See if I can see me. I can't.
It's better.
It's better. We can see you now.
I apologize for the top of the head view, but at least you know I'm wearing a kippah. That's something. So we're on page, if we can join up on, yeah, that's up. No, that's not the one. Down at the bottom of that same page. This is what Beth is reading. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. When our ancestors beheld these truths, they proclaimed, among all the gods we can name, who can compare to the one beyond naming? Among all the quantities we can label, number, mark, and measure, which compares to the mystery at the heart of reality?
And with that in mind, we turn to page 35, the next page, for Micha Mocha, which is our song of triumph at the crossing of the Red Sea, crossing from bondage to freedom and the promise of much to come. So I'm going to sing the tune that TBI normally sings for those of you who are familiar with it, but I'm going to sing it more slowly and a little less upbeat because of the context of this gathering, just so you know. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha netar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef ele, osef ele, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe, Ze Eli anu ve'ameru ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov U'galo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Baruch atah Adonai Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. So we turn to the very next page, to page 36, to read together in English this prayer for divine protection, which is customarily said in the evenings. Help us to lie down, dear one, our God, in peace, and let us rise again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Decree for us a worthy daily lot, and redeem us for the sake of your great name. Protect us and keep from us enemies, illness, sword, famine, and sorrow. Enfold us in the wings of your protection, for you are our redeeming guardian. Truly, a sovereign, gracious, and compassionate God are you. Guard our going forth each day for life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Blessed are you, compassionate one, who ever guards the people Israel and all who dwell on earth. And then I'm going to turn to the Hebrew on page 37 and just finish the prayer. Ushemor tzeteinu voenu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam u'feros aleinu sukat shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai, shomer am Yisrael ve'kol yoshvei tevel la'ad. And this is an amen moment for you all. And this leads us to page 43. To the Chatzi Kaddish, which allows us to transition from this preliminary part of the service to that, yeah, we're getting real close to, there we are, to the Amidah, which is our silent meditation time or offering of the traditional prayers, depending on your bent, but it's entirely your choice. But for now, we turn to, and I'm going to stand for this just because it leads us right into the, actually it doesn't, we have an intro, don't we, to the Amidah. No, we don't. We don't, that's after. So we're going to go right into the Amidah. So I invite you to stand if you wish, because the Amidah is a standing prayer, but if that is difficult, please do not be compelled. And page 43. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, v'gala b'zman kari ve'imeru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, le'alam u'le'almei amayach, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitba'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yit'aleh, V'yithalal, Shmei Dekudsha, Brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiran Be'alma Vimeru. Amen. The silent Amidah begins on page 44 and actually goes all the way to page 75. Feel free to either engage with that or the alternative Amidah in English, which begins on page 76 and goes to page 81. Or just commune with your own thoughts as I undertake the traditional prayers on everybody's behalf. I can't see you all. I don't know if you're ready yet, so I'm going to wait for a signal. Ken, are you ready with your reading then? We have to unmute Ken. Thank you.
The past and the dead speak through us. We breathe out our children's children, blessing. Blessed is the earth from which we grow. Blessed the life we are lent. Blessed is the light. Blessed is the darkness. But blessed above all else is peace. Peace that bears joy into the world. Peace that enables love. Peace everywhere. Blessed and holy is peace. Let's say amen.
Thank you. So let's do our best to sing Oseh Shalom, which I don't think we have transliterated in our book, unfortunately, but some of you may know this by heart. All right. So this is just to finish out our experience of the Amidah, remembering that the whole point of all these prayers, the main thing it ends with, the final plea, is for peace, which of course is essential. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. We add this, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. So we're not just praying for Israel and ourselves, but for the whole world, because the lifeboat ain't going to work unless everybody can fit in it. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imru, amen. Now there's this formal Kaddish to close out the official prayer section. So that's on page 887 if you want to follow along. Sing along as long as you want. It's before the Aleinu. 87. There we go. It doesn't give the whole thing transliterated, but there's the part for you to join in if you wish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutev yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv ve'imeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam u'le'almei almaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'alev v'yithalash me'dekudisha v'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechmata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru, amen. Titkabal tzolotahon uvotahon dechol beit Yisrael kodam avuhon devishmaya ve'imeru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. And now we really have finished with the main bulk of the prayer service and have gotten to what is really important here, which is you. and your feelings and your memories and your stories and whatever you haven't talked out in the previous nights. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
So folks should unmute now.
It's also perfectly okay to just not have nobody say anything for a while until somebody is moved to speak. We could pretend we're in a Quaker meeting. It kind of works that way. But the primary people who should be given space to speak first are the family.
Do you have any stories, Mom?
But a lot of stories.
Well, you talked about how you met already.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk about some of your movies?
well, I think the first movie we made together was in the Home for the Aged where I lived. And I was familiar with all the residents of the home. And Ed was always professional and discreet. He filmed the people in the hospital section, the people in my group, and he was never invasive when he filmed. He needed, at that time, he needed lights, and he had a big 16mm camera. But somehow when he filmed, he got the close-ups of the, he was part of our group. We think that he was praying with us or being with us, and the old people all accepted him, which really was amazing because they had never met him before. And that's how he came to film. And they incorporated him into their lives beautifully. So Ed had this talent where he could become part of the people that he filmed. Somehow it has an instinctive, innate, artistic talent that he had, just basically part of him, which wasn't learned. It was just there. And I think that's the secret of his films, that the success of them is that he became part of the people he was filming. And the old people, I think they really loved him.
Thank you, Naomi.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thank you. I was very proud of Ed. Always. In his quiet way, he's kind of overpowering them. I was proud of Ed because everything he learned that he did, he taught himself. He never took a class in filmmaking, but he just knew what to do. He found himself. He had an innate ability to become part of wherever he was. So he was never strange. I think he was also pleased that his children, Kenny and Eddie, did filming too. They carried on in his footsteps, and both of them. And Ed was very proud of his two sons, Kenny and Eddie. Should I say Eddie and Kenny? They're the older.
I'll take once in a while.
Eddie.
He gets first billing.
That's right. That's right. Ed was very happy when they were born. Yeah. I'm very proud of them always, both Eddie and Cindy. It was always proud of you both. Yeah.
Eddie, was that picture you drew of Dad, my dad's a big joke ball? Was that it?
That's right. Yeah. He was always a joke ball, even from, what was I, 4 when that got immortalized up on the wall. Because our house had pictures and paintings and photographs and things from when we were 4 years old everywhere. Like there was not, like you could hardly see the wallpaper. It was in the kitchen. It was just.
Was there wallpaper?
Under the gray tape. Everything was held up by gray tape. Everything.
I know, it's like, forget about film. He was an artist of gray tape. I mean, seriously, built everything out of gray tape you could imagine, doll houses and everything.
We're talking about what's called duct tape,
Yeah.
Yes.
but at the time it was the gray tape.
And film canisters that we would all use, all the cousins would use to build with. It was just the best when we had family birthday parties. So I'm going to say I knew your dad before you two did. Because I'm a lot older. And what I remember the most about your dad is that he was the most fun adult we were ever around. When we were little girls, he would come over and crack these jokes that were totally stupid. But he would tickle us, and he was just, I didn't know any other adults that cared about making kids laugh. And that was something that was just unique about your dad. And I'm sure he was thinking when he played with us, gee, maybe someday I'll get to have kids. But it was many years later when you guys came along.
I think he told the same silly jokes that my father did,
Yeah.
his older brother, George.
Could you please tell those to Ed? Because we're all tired of the jokes that he tells now.
Please.
I'm afraid they're the same.
Yes.
I don't know how he ever ate dinner when we would all get together for birthday dinners, because he was always running around setting up lighting and sound and checking the light with his light meter and setting up the projector and the screen. And somehow he did it,
He always got cake.
Yeah.
probably.
Chocolate roll.
He and I shared birthday months. We were the only two May people.
Right.
We went on a honeymoon on Eleuthera Island, which belonged to Cyril Bath, for whom Ed made quite a number of films.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's where I went on my honeymoon.
What?
That's where I went for my honeymoon.
Eleuthera Island? Wow. Well, his boss, Cyril Bath, owns, I think, the whole island.
Wow.
Maybe a house.
Maybe half.
Maybe a house.
Yeah, a house on the island. But Ed, most of the time, he had his camera for our honeymoon, and he would say, "Now you stand here and don't move," and he would put the tripod and quickly, and he'd run so that he'd be in the picture. And
Yeah.
So he used to take the picture. So our honeymoon was spent in running back and forth, but we could do other things too at night.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah. We have,
Any grandchildren or great nephews or any nieces that would like to speak before we move on? Well, these memories are going to keep coming. Oh, yes, please. Wonderful.
Sorry, I'm eating a cookie, but 1 second.
that's good.
We permit eating.
Something that I can say about Grandpa Ed is, I don't know if I ever remember him knowing who I was, but he would always call me Mimi.
Really?
That's a really big compliment because he had such a
Really?
love for Grandma. Yeah, he would always
That's
call me
something.
Mimi. Well, then he would call me abroad, but he would mostly call me.
Indeed. Shared granddaughter experience.
That is interesting. All right.
That
A
is
tomato for a tomato.
what I really loved about Opa is that he also for most of my life, I think I have some memories when I was little when he knew who I was, but from most of my life he didn't, and that really didn't matter. Someone would just say, "It's your granddaughter," and he'd go, "Oh, how are you? I love you." Like he was just, sorry, putting away groceries somewhat crashily here. He just had so much love for everyone and so much love for family that he just knew he loved his family. He didn't have to remember precisely that I was Bethy's daughter, or, it's your granddaughter. Cool. Hi, how are you? I love you. Have you seen this movie? Let's watch this movie. Like, it was great. Just very warm, always warm.
I
Always.
think your soul comes out as you age and get to those years when you don't know what's going on. And I've known lots of really, really crotchety older people. And I vow that I'm never going to be one of them. But when I think about Ed and our dad, I think about how sweet they were towards the end. And that was the time they were able to say, I love you. And that was a time when they were really able to appreciate the simple pleasures of family.
It gets very
So-
real, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think all three of them. I think Mary was, I don't know if any of our other cousins, I guess none of them are here tonight, but I think all three of them got to be very, very kind people towards the end of their lives. Not that they weren't before, but just especially so. And I always hope that as I grow older, that I can be that way too.
It's a good ambition for all of us.
Yeah,
Get sweeter with age.
it's true.
And you're a wonderful model, Naomi, so for everybody. So if no one has more to say, we can close this section, but recognize that this is an ongoing process. Oh, please, yes, go right ahead.
I have this one, it's my most vivid memory of Grandpa from like really early on. I don't remember what age I was at the time, like too young to really like understand a whole lot of what was going on. But it was at one of his birthdays that we were celebrating. It was, I think, one of the big decade ones. And I remember everyone was just always trying to like tell him to put away the camcorder or like, come out from behind the camera. And like at the time it was so funny to me, but now that I'm a bit older, I think I understand a bit more that desire to try to put everything in frame and try to like hold on to it and like crystallize the moment like that. And I don't know, it's just something that I've come to realize a lot later. And yeah, that's just what I wanted to share, that bit of understanding that's come out a lot later.
Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
What I wanted to say was that the relationship will go on as long as you live, each one of you, because you will carry your grandfather, your husband, your father, your uncle, your beloved Ed in your heart, always. The mystery that I found when I lost both of my, each of my parents over time and some close friends is that I long for them to haunt me, but come to my dreams and let me remember this and let me remember that. Just the best kind of haunting, you know, where somebody you really loved comes back in your mind from time to time. So I invite you to welcome the visitations, because they will come and your relationship will deepen. Things are going to come out of your mouth a year from now that you'll realize you learned from him. You heard him say, you didn't remember, that was stuck inside you, and it's out now and in front of you as a memory. Memories come in fragmentary ways, so be open to them, and may they give you much joy and peace as you remember them. We're going to turn now to page 88 for the Aleinu. I'm going to ask Beth to read her interpretive version when we finish the prayer. Actually, no, why don't you go ahead and do it now, Beth, while we prepare to do the prayer. But that prayer is on 88. And we're going to, it's fine to have it on the English if you want. I'm going to be chanting it in the Hebrew.
This is not the right
Yeah,
English.
the Hebrew is on the.
Whatever you folks want, because I have my own book, so I don't need to have the text up there. So
The interpreted version is on page 89, I think.
yeah, if you read it to, yeah, if you want to show page 89, that would be great, please, Ed. Actually, it's page, where is it? It was just here. I have it on page 94.
Thank you. There we go. It is up to us to hallow creation, to respond to life with the fullness of our lives. It is up to us to meet the world, to embrace the whole, even as we wrestle with its parts. It is up to us to repair the world and to bind our lives to the truth. Therefore, we bend the knee and shake off the stiffness that keeps us from the subtle graces of life and the supple gestures of love. With reverence and thanksgiving, we accept our destiny and set for ourselves the task of redemption.
Thank you, Beth. And now we rise, and if we were in a synagogue, we would be facing the ark, which would be open. So if you have an opportunity to face east, that would be appropriate. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'ol, latet gedula liotzer b'rit, shenatan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam, nata b'tocheinu. Page 91. Page 91. If you could move the text. Thank you. Va'anachnu kore'im u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu note shamayim ve'yosei haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shchinatu zo begovei meromim hu Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu efes ulato kakatuv b'torato v'yadata hayom v'hashevota El levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim Vashamayim mima'al, ve'al ha'aretz, ve'al ha'aretz, mitachat ein od. And then on page 93, okay, in the Hebrew, Kakatuv b'Toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, Ushemo echad. And now you may be seated. Hold on just 1 second. Oh, I can't do this. Okay. I have lost my copy of my intro to the Mourner's Cottage, so I'll just tell you this. It's hard to think of oneness when our world has been sort of shattered by the death of someone so precious as Ed was to so many of you. And the way we cope is that we connect with our happy memories, we connect with the sense of inevitability about life and death, and the fact that this is very much outside our hands. This is what the Kaddish pretty much says, that the universe is ticking along just the way it's supposed to, in spite of the fact that we've lost someone we love very much. And that if you were in a synagogue right now with 50 other people, you'd notice that half a dozen at least of them were also saying Kaddish for someone maybe you don't even know. That this is part of life and that we have to accept it and praise, even though we may not find that it gives us always great joy. But that's essentially the essence of the Kaddish. And those who wish to recite the Kaddish, it's available on page 103, as you can see. You have the English there and the transliteration for those who require it. And please rise for this prayer if you're going to say it. Please rise if you're saying the Kaddish. And anybody who wants to, who loved this man, can absolutely say the Kaddish. Technically speaking, the only mourners are children and spouse and siblings, but all of you are in mourning right now, and I invite you to feel free to say this prayer. Please join me if you wish. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei rabbah ve'alma divra chirutei ve'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael va'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Ula'almei Almaya. Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach Ve'yitpa'ar Ve'yitromam Ve'yitnaseh Ve'yithadar Ve'yit'aleh Ve'yithalal Shmei Dekudsha Berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata, tushbechata ve'nechemata da'amiran be'alma, ve'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. May heaven grant universal peace. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. And I'm going to close the service with the 23rd Psalm. I don't know if I gave you this page, David, Ed, so Psalm of David, which made David come out of my mouth. But it's okay. You probably have some idea of the content of the 23rd Psalm. It's a fairly famous one. So I'm going to chant it for you to conclude our service. And I wish you all peaceful hearts. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai Roi Lo Echsar, Bino Deshe Yarbitzeni, Al Mei Menuchot Yinaleni. Nafshi Yishovev, Nafshi Yishovev, Yanacheni v'magle tzedek, Leman Shemo, Gam ki Eilech, V'geit salmavet, lo irara, ki ata imadi, shiftecha umishantecha, shiftecha umishantecha, Hema Yenachamuni, Ta'aruch Lefanai Shulchan, Ta'aruch Lefanai Shulchan, Ta'aruch Lefanai Shulchan, Neged Sorerai, Dishanta Vashemen Roshi, Dishanta Vashemen Roshi, Dishanta Vashemen Roshi, Kosi Revaya, Ach Tov Vachesed, Yedefuni, Kol Yemei Chayai, Veshavti Beveit Adonai, Veshavti Beveit Adonai, Leorech Yamim. May you go your ways in peace. May Ed's memory bless you on and on in ways that you don't yet imagine. And may you find great comfort in the love you share among you. Is there anything else anybody wants from me or from this evening? Or shall I leave you to your family conversation? I can certainly do that. It's been an honor and great to see the kids again, I have to say. They aren't kids anymore. Thank you for allowing me into your home tonight. It's such an important time.
Thank you, Jill. Yeah, really great.
My honor to be here with you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Well, thank you all for coming. Danny, I know you're a busy man, so I really appreciate this, and Edward too, I know. He knew you were here. Yeah.
Not too busy for you, Mimi. And even though I didn't really know Ed so well, I know the love that he had and could feel it in the house. And from what little I know of all of you, okay, thank you so much for bringing me in. And I didn't have the privilege of having my father as long. So having him around, like I said, the privilege of that. And even though I didn't know him so well, I know Ed and a little bit of Ken from what I see, and some of you little bits and pieces. And I know that the mensch that all of you have become really speaks volumes about both Ed and you, Mimi.
Thank you, Danny.
My condolences to all of you.
Thank you.
And to you.
Mhm. Thank Brent for being here too. He's been here for a long time.
Not going there.
This is a very silly story, but it has endeared Dad to me for decades. And I loved telling this as a kid, and I loved acting it out, like pretending I was Dad in this situation. But back in the 60s, he was at the Venice Film Festival, and apparently they had this wonderful spread, but it had been out in the sun all day. And they had this like really fancy cheese. And he always used to say, yes, I knew to stay away from the cheese because it had been out in the sun, and all of his friends ate it and got sick, and he was fine. And I don't know, I always pictured him just kind of eyeing the cheese, looking at the sun, being at the film festival. But and I don't know, just a very silly story, but I love thinking of Dad in Venice not eating the cheese, maybe cutting it, but not eating it. So.
That's a very story typical of Ed, Ken. Yeah, he held on to his principles always.
Yeah, when you were traveling in Japan, did he ever eat sushi?
No, I don't think he ever
Never did, yeah.
He wouldn't, in fact, the thought of eating anything living, and were you there, Kenny, then? No.
Where?
Mhm.
Oh, in Japan, no.
Live cat something, because they ate cats in Japan. And it was on the table, and it was live. And I didn't tell Ed that it was live, but he ate it. We all ate it. Yeah. I think it was a cat anyway.
Very fresh, Naomi-san, very fresh.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, Ed and I had fun in Japan.
Cats didn't.
I think Debbie has something she wants to say.
No, I was just gonna say I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Okay.
All right. See you.
Debbie. Thank you for coming, Debbie.
Yeah, so we've been doing this this is day 4. So I know if folks need to do other stuff, but it's great. It's great seeing everybody. And hey, Charlie, haven't seen your mug in a while.
Hi, Charlie.
It's okay. You don't have to come up.
I'm trying to unmute. Hi, everyone. My love and my heart is with you all. You know, the thing that just keeps coming to me as I listen to everyone talk about Ed is, you know, from the early times when I met Ed always had a sense of humor about him. And even when he could be, it's not even gruff, but just, you know, have his exterior to the world, there was always a gentleness that shone through Ed from the first time I met him. And the last time I saw him, what I heard someone say earlier, that as we get older, that light shines through. He was just so sweet, and that light was so shining. And so that's the way I remember Ed. And it's just, I'm just grateful to be here with you all tonight. It's nice to see everyone.
Thank you, Charles. That's lovely. Yeah, that was Ed's spirit.
And everyone, I'm gonna have to jump off in a second as well. But thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this process. And yeah, I really appreciate it. And me and Claudia, actually, I didn't get to spend exactly too much time with Ed. I met him a couple of times, but didn't exchange too many words. But me and Claudia got the chance to watch some of his videos on Friday, and yeah, just through that, and then hearing everything on tonight and through the funeral service, I feel like I've already met him through Ed Jr. So yeah, it seems like
Junior,
we'll definitely
yes. Junior.
Yeah, I don't know if Ed Jr. is what you like to be called, but yeah,
Are
I
you
definitely wish I could have known him more.
It is now.
Well, I got to jump off, guys. It was great to see you all.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye, Nick. Thank you for coming.
Mimi, I'm gonna head off too.
Hey, thank you, Jerry, for coming.
It was always fun with dinner with you and Ed. It was always super fun. Even recently, cracking jokes with Ed was,
Right.
was the highlight of dinner. So
We always had fun.
The same joke, right?
Ed loved a good pun, so it could come from any direction, really.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye, Jerry.
Guys, I'm sorry. I've got a budget to finish, so I have another hour of Excel in front of me tonight.
Maybe we'll see everybody tomorrow, or as many people as they can tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 9. It's what, noon your time? 9 a.m.
Noon Eastern time.
Noon Eastern time. Right. That's why I'm thinking it. Okay. Awesome. We'll be here. We'll be here. At least
Mimi, yeah, Mimi, I've got lots of time. You want to hang out? You can do
Mimi, no, the answer's no. The answer's no, Mimi.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Don't eat the cream cheese.
Hey.
I call cream cheese whipped cream.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
What's that?
Bye.
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 Ah!